Hey guys, welcome back here on a Military Monday, right? We do our weekly live stream. I'm busy tomorrow. It's actually my 32nd wedding anniversary. Key to a long marriage, stay deployed 7 to 9 months out of the year. Gotta make those marriages last, gonna make it last. All right, so anyways, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me tonight here on this glorious Monday night. I've got great weather outside. I've been working on taxes and getting this stuff ready and editing videos, but I did manage to sneak in about, I had a 5-minute project on my Jeep. I have a, you guys know I put a 6.4 Hemi motor in my Jeep Rubicon. Anyways, the expansion tank for the radiator, the stock one doesn't fit, none of them fit. So I kind of had to find another way to do it. So I got a stainless steel one that's made for like custom made hot rods and stuff. One that would fit in that space and real easy. Should take about 15 minutes putting, no. So cutting and grinding and riveting. And anyways, my 15-minute project turned into about 2 hours. No big deal. I was able to wash most of the grease off. And I managed to make it in time here to hang out with you guys tonight. Not just me hanging out. We got Steve here. Steve just walked in. But we also got Live Free Armory hanging out. They're going to sponsor tonight. Good stuff. You guys aren't familiar with Live Free Armory. They make custom guns, a bunch of other stuff, but primarily custom sexy guns. For example, they got this Apollo 11 that is a double stack 1911 that's in 9mm and it is a sweet shooting gun. Looks really, really sexy. Already comes milled for an optic and everything that you would want on a modern firearm. This thing's got it. Now, it is a 1911 style. So me personally, like the staccato, sexy gun, great for competition. I'm not bringing it to combat. That's my personal preference. But for a lot of you out there that you love your 1911s and everything, Live Free Armory. You can check them out at livefreearmory.com. Good stuff indeed. Steve, what you know, brother?
It's a Monday night, man.
It is a Monday night. Mondays aren't bad. Monday nights aren't bad, right? You're already done the day job. Maybe some of you guys are driving home. You got work going on and everything. If you're on the other side of the planet, it's a glorious Tuesday, right? So, hey, it is what it is. Steve, I got Steve
it's
here.
a Monday night. There's no Monday night football. So
Why is there no Monday night football?
Because football season is over with.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Super Bowl was a couple of weeks ago.
Was it?
Kansas City won.
Was it?
Oh, my Niners.
I used to throw great Super Bowl parties. For example, I actually think it's, if you're a patron, if you go to Story Time with Carl, we do that once a month. Sometimes it's story time with Randy or one of the other guys. But it's story time. We post that usually the second week of each month. I don't know. I'll have to ask the patrons that are in the chat room right now. Did I ever tell you guys the story about the mother of all Super Bowl parties that we did in Baghdad? I want to say I already did. If not, you guys would love it. I locked the Command Sergeant Major off the base. I wouldn't let him in. We had, the bonfire was so big you could see it from the International Space Station. We projected the Super Bowl up onto the side of the building, and you get medals for combat deployments and stuff, but there's only one impact award that A15 did while I was Company Sergeant Major. We only pinned on one medal through all those combat deployments. Who did it go to? It went to our cook for the Super Bowl party because he had every finger food you ever heard of. He had it there. My guys had pizzas. They had mini pizzas. They had corn dogs. They had little nachos, hot wings, chicken strips, dips, everything. That boy, he busted his ass. He made me happy. He really did. And anyways, the general allowed a 2-beer limit for everybody, but my command sergeant Hagar there, dumbass, tried to say my guys couldn't drink at my base. They had to drive to his base And I'm like, no. So they came and took our beer, my 2 beer per guy. So anyway, no big deal. Hey guys, Raptor Base needs alcohol. I had guys I had an old Vietnam vet that was working in the green zone. He was one of the guys that did the Sante raid, by the way. When he heard we didn't have beer, he brought us a pallet of Pounders 16-ounce Heineken cans. I don't know how many bottles of whiskey we had. We invited all the Air Force nurses over from the nearby hospital with the understanding, like, look, nobody's drinking and driving tonight. I am locking the gates. Nobody's allowed in. Nobody's allowed out. You understand? You can sleep on the couch or sleep wherever you want, but you're not going back to your base. And anyways, we had a great Super Bowl party. Come the next morning, I found out that the command sergeant major and the colonel wanted to, when I wasn't answering my phone for like the 10th time, they decided to drive down and chew my ass, and nobody would let them in. The Iraqis with all the guns are like, no, they're having a Super Bowl party, you can't go in. I'd actually backed my SUV up against the gate, so they couldn't have breached it if they had to. And anyway, so the next morning, I get up, I go in, I unlock the gate, move my SUV out of the way. I let all the Air Force girls go out through the gate, right? I proper accountability. They were all, their hair was a little messed up, but they all were intact and with smiles on their faces. But I get to my office and there's a stack of Post-it notes. Call me, call me, call me, call me. And like the last 6 of them were, threats of bodily harm. So anyways, I called the command sergeant major, Sort of Central headquarters on the other side of Baghdad International Airport. And so I major, I hear you wanted to talk to me. He's like, you've got 3 minutes to be at parade rest in my office. I understand it's a 20-minute drive. Roger that. He had already hung up on me. So anyways, I went, got a shower, got breakfast, everything, got my uniform on, and he can't fire me. I guess if, he couldn't fire me. He couldn't. Anyways, I drive there, get to his office, and this guy's fuming. He's like, I've been plotting all night long about how I was going to destroy your career. But then I get up this morning and all these other units all these other Green Beret units that I made drive to my chow hall so that they could have their 2 beers. Every one of those units had a alcohol-related incident, either fighting, a DUI, something like that. And your unit is the only one that did not have an alcohol-related incident. I'm like, roger that, Sergeant Major, because I told you my guys were not going to have any problems because I was going to keep them safe and secure on Raptor Base. He said, get out of my office. Okay. So anyway, I'll take a ass chewing. My guys had a great time. And so I went to go visit. There's a nearby company. It's a kind of hush-hush company, but they make this new binary explosive. It's right in Clarksville, dude. I didn't even know they were there. This new sexy binary explosive. It comes in like a caulking gun, and you can like go up and caulk doors with it and then tack it off. The RE factor is 1.1. It's pretty decent stuff. I went to go. They invited me down to do a tour of the place, so I went down there, and turns out a couple of my old A-15 assaulters and snipers work for that company now. And I walked in and they were actually talking about the mother of all Super Bowl parties, which is kind of funny. So anyway, Steve, I saw the Super Bowl party was on, but I couldn't bring myself to watch it, dude. I just couldn't. Well,
I tell you, it's I guess all the Kansas City fans there, they loved it. TR Nation, how you guys doing? Good to see you on a Monday night. All you guys over there in the big island, in the big pond. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
Oi, oi, oi.
Oi, oi, oi.
Good stuff indeed.
I have so many things I can add to that. But before we get going, you're already going. Interesting text conversation today with Robin
Patty.
Yeah, that was...
you guys know Robin, right? She's the dude that had her dick cut off so she could be a chick. And no, don't judge Robin. Robin has a reason for doing that, okay? She was injured in a halo jump and everything, and we love Robin. Robin is awesome. So I know all you guys got your panties in the wad and everything. Number one, some of y'all shouldn't be wearing panties, all right? But the reality is we love Robin. Robin has been with Tactical Rifleman for years. And we don't judge family members. We love everybody. But anyways, she texted the snot out of me. And I was like, no, you don't need to talk to me. You need to talk to the man, Steve Holland. So go ahead, Steve. Elaborate.
It was interesting because, I've known of Robin since I started being on the show with Carl.
We love
and
Robin.
It turns out, I happened to mention on one of the show, I had an airborne operation jump accident one time in my career. And I don't know why they call it an accident. He jumped out of an airplane and he had an accident. That like makes it like a small thing. He jumped out of an airplane, he had a tragedy.
You understand, when we say we jump out of an airplane, we're talking about a halo jump, high altitude, low opening, most of them are in the dark. Picture you stepping off that airplane and somebody throwing a planet at you. So all you scuba divers that talk about sharks and big fish, they're throwing a planet at you. So to do that and then to have a tragedy, what happened, Steve?
Well, it turned out this wasn't Halo.
It was a static line.
It was a static line.
Really?
Yeah, this was back when I was in the 82nd Airborne. And they were making the biggest jump since Normandy.
Really?
Yeah. The biggest airborne operation since Normandy. It was called Gallant Eagle. It was 1982. And basically,
1982.
the 82nd Airborne, we all flew in C-141s. I can't even give you the number of C-141s. They were dropping 2,500 paratroopers.
Oh, shit.
2,500. That's like 60 cans of whoop ass in flight.
You understand that's 40 minutes on the Texas border right now, crossing through the fence. Anyways, I didn't mean to poke you with a stick. Go ahead.
Good point.
Go ahead. All right.
So, the Special Forces, whatever you got on your back when you jump, stack line of Halo is what you got on your back. 82nd Airborne, they carry a big whoop-ass stick. So they're pushing out artillery, tanks, pallets of ammo, mortar, and they always push that out first.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, when you're in your sticks on the plane, all that heavy equipment is loaded center line. So it's on a pallet. Imagine a howitzer on a pallet. A tank, a Sheridan tank, on a pallet with all these ratchet straps crisscross. And now you're in full gear and you're trying to make it past all this stuff and get ready as they push this stuff.
Hoping you don't get hooked on the side of it.
Now, they don't push this stuff into the drop zone and then come back around and let you go out. They push this stuff and you get right behind it. Okay? So, jumping to 141.
What was on your plane, Steve? Was it a howitzer or was it a Sheridan tank?
It was howitzers on
howitzer.
my plane. So as they're pushing this stuff off at 1,200 feet, we're giving all the commands. I had this young soldier in my squad. He was a PFC. I was a corporal, and he was nervous. I mean, he was really nervous. He was like, corporal this, corporal that. So I turned to him right before the jump master to give us I said, hey, follow me, do what I do. Out the door, go. Came on the canopy. No, I take it back. We dropped at 800 feet because it was the Normandy, reenact, and everything else. So I should have known something when my canopy opened and almost snapped my spine. I mean, it was the hardest pop I'd ever felt. I probably had 80, 90 jumps. And I realized as I looked down toward the drop zone, I see pallets of howitzers getting dragged across the drop zone.
Oh, shit.
Doing about 20 miles an hour.
High winds.
High winds. High winds. And I look down, I see this Jeep, a couple of guys in a Jeep chasing a paratrooper who probably got out in the plane in front of us. They're trying to catch this guy in a Jeep. He's being drugged. And just as I say 100 feet off the ground, I kicked off my rucksack. I said, I'm gonna get this rucksack off right now. I got it off, and I grabbed my cape wells.
Yeah, Cape Wells.
Because these were the ones with the shot peen with the cable with the double thing. You're not supposed to touch those while you're in flight. But I see
for releasing your risers, guys.
Yeah, completely cutting your parachute away.
Yeah.
I see 50, 60 paratroopers getting dragged all over the place. I said, okay, as soon as my feet touch the ground, I'm going to pop this thing. I'm popping this thing. I'm getting out of this thing. As soon as my feet touch the ground, I went to pop them, and I woke up about 200 yards later. Just, I hear these guys screaming. I never heard a grown man scream. Not a lot of them. I mean, they were flat out screaming. And this thing was dragging me. And luckily, I was able to roll over on my side, which of course, we're in the desert. You got rock, you got cactus, you got sagebrush, anything that could rip your uniform off and tear your new asshole. I got drugged through it. I mean, I literally had the right side of my ass take it off about an inch. You don't believe me? No, I better not show you. But the scars,
certain things don't need to be on the internet.
Scars still there.
You guys will have to sign up for his OnlyFans account.
And so when I
you understand, he's having post-traumatic stress right now. He's remembering all this right now.
My parachute canopy got hung up on some big bush, and so when I came to, I had all this dirt in my eyes and blood was coming down, and I remember reaching down to my ankle, pulling out my Gerber Mark II, which you're not supposed to jump knives on your ankles. And I remember pulling a line, crawling up to my parachute. I just started stabbing that motherfucker. I was like, deflate. And I laid there for about 35 minutes. And finally, I look across the desert. I can see this medevac vehicle moving from parachute to parachute. And it took about 40 minutes to get to me. And when they pulled up, the medic jumped out. And turns out that the medic that treated me was a medic from the, I think the 2nd 325 Infantry, 82nd Airborne, that I had went through recondo school with. Because when he was washing the dust and the blood out of my eyes, and I looked up, I saw his name tag, I looked at his face, I said, Doc. He said, yeah, I'm here, man, I'm Doc. I said, no, Doc, it's me, it's Steve. And he looked up, and he
wiped
took
all
my shirt,
the blood away.
and looked at my name tag, and he go, Recondo, brother. I said, yeah. And he lost all bedside decorum. He goes, man, you fucked up. I think I went into shock right then. I was like, ah. I mean, he was like straight in my eyes going, brother, you fucked up. It tore both my kneecaps out. They were flapping. Took half my ass, everything. And turns out that Robin was on that jump. And that was his cherry jump, his first jump in the unit.
Of all the jumps to be your first jump. Mass tack, high winds with heavy equipment. Wow. That would suck.
Well, that's going to be the same jump you guys are going to do in France in June, right?
Yep. All right. Speaking of that, guys, you hear me talk about that in that what we're doing is this summer, June 6th is the anniversary of the 80th anniversary of the Allies' invasion of Normandy, France, to push Germany out of France and Europe, defeat Hitler. That was the turning point. And if you are a Frenchman in France, D-Day is like Independence Day is for us here in the U.S. To give you an idea how big of a holiday it is. So the 75th anniversary, 5 years ago, Trump went, all these other heads of states went, and all these different parachute groups and landing crafts and everything. But there's this group called Round Canopy Parachute Team USA, and they're out of Palatka, Florida. And anyways, they went over with like 200 people. And there's all these World War II era correct aircraft, and they did all these jumps and everything. There were a lot of World War II vets there. It was awesome. They said traffic was terrible because of all the heads of state, but it was a magical, magical time. Well, one of my old command sergeant majors went and did that jump, and he showed me this picture. And he's like, you see that guy coming out of the side of the World War II airplane, and the guy's in World War II uniform, and he's holding the reserve. And I'm like, yeah, I see him. He's like, that's me. The guy in the door is my son. And we jumped into the 75th anniversary. And about the time I'm getting ready to say that's gay, he said it was a great bonding experience for me and my son. And I was like, oh. So anyways, I asked my son, I'm like, hey, because my son was there. I'm like, hey, Nick, because you guys know I've done a lot of messed up things in my life. I have. But I only have one regret. And my one regret is that when the towers fell, my unit, A15, we had so many back-to-back deployments that I basically missed 10 years of my son growing up. My daughter was 5 years younger and everything, I understand, but I missed a lot of years where dad needs to be there with his son. And so any opportunity that I can spend time with my son, I always try to spend time with my son. So anyways, I asked him, I'm like, hey, Nick, do you want to go jump into Normandy, France? And he's like, that would be awesome. And I'm like, shit, now I got to do it. So I reached out to Round Canopy Parachute Team and signed my son up and everything. They're like, hey, you're a jump master. You can come down, do jump master refresher, and you can help us run Airborne school. And I'm like, whoa, guys, last time I did, because I was a Halo jump master, I'm like, the last time I did static line jump master was in Ethiopia in 1997. They're like, all right, I'll come back to you. So anyways, we go down to Palatka, Florida. This was a couple years ago now. And I went through jump master refresher, and then I helped them run a basic airborne course for about 20 students. A bunch of you guys were there. Leif LeBlanc was there. David Duenas was there. Chris Smith, other guys that I often see in the chat room here. Fans of Tactical Rifleman came down when they signed up when they heard that me and my son were going to be. Emery came down. Chad Holsizer came down. We had a bunch of people. I will tell you, they run such a professional program. Airborne school is only 5 days long. Nobody yelling at you. They take the 3-week Army Airborne school. They follow the exact same program of instruction, all the regulations, everything. But all the instructors are there because they want to be there, and they're passionate about this. It was a great time. It was a magical time. Me and my son had a blast. We really, really had a blast. And so we get the students their 5 jumps, and their 4 jumps. Their 5th jump that afternoon, it was going to be the next morning, was going to be out of that World War II airplane. This is C-47, and we had that airplane come in and land right at sunset. And I was like, this is going to be awesome. This really going to be. I already bought my son the World War II uniform, the K-Pot, the brown Cochrane jump boots and everything, because we're going to go jump into Normandy, right? So anyways, guys, it was cool. So the next morning we get up, and remember, the only plane my son had jumped out of up to then was a little bitty Cessna. All right. And then I had Chris Weatherman. You guys know him as Angry American. He asked if he could ride on the airplane. So I basically bribed him, and I got permission for him to be on the plane. And Chris was nice enough to film with his phone. And I had a GoPro mounted out on the end of the wing. And I want to share this with you guys real quick. This is my son's first jump out of a World War II airplane, a C-47, the Tycho Bell. But it is also my first jump out of a World War II airplane, and they let me be jump master. So anyways, I want to share this with you guys. This right here, this jump, that's Chris Smith right there. A lot of you guys know Chris Smith. And Emery's wearing a GoPro on his hat, so some of this is Emery. That's me running by. I'm the jump master. I need to be checking these guys going onto the plane. And so anyways, you see me there, my nice little World War II airplane. You see the black cat there. He's checking static lines and everything. And anyways, this is my first jump. He's the last guy getting on. We get on to the airplane. We're actually going to be second pass. So now first pass is going to get on. All right, so we're up in the air now. And he just said, hey, you're good. So this is me, 6 minutes. All right, get ready. Second pass personnel, stand up. That's my son sitting right there in the front. And then you got Chad, then you got Emery, then you got Chris Smith. You've got Leif LeBlanc, who was supposed to jump with. Emery and Chris Smith are actually going to be jumping in Normandy with us. See the big guy here standing up? Last man to stand up. That's Leif LeBlanc. He just broke his neck. He's not going to be jumping with us now. I just gave them hook up, so they're supposed to be taking their static lines and hooking them up. There's Emery, big smiles, big smile. All right, this is Chris Weatherman filming, and Emery's got a big smile on his face. Chad looks a little nervous. It might be the second chin, I don't know. But this is check static lines. I'm gonna give him check equipment neck, check equipment. You see my son right there? My son is motivated. He's checking his equipment. Sound off for equipment check. And the safety's back there checking all of them. This is Chris Weatherman filming this with his phone, so please don't beat him up for it. My son's all okay, jump master. And my son's motivated. Why? Because my son's awesome. You guys know Nick is awesome. So anyways, I've got to check the door and make sure that the door is good. I got to make sure there's no other airplanes or helicopters flying behind us. That would suck. And I got to find the drop zone because I'm coming up on my 1 minute mark. Right? Yeah, that's the drop zone. I got it. I'm talking to 1 minute. I got to get back out again. I lean back out again. 1 minute. I'm basically right over the top of Walmart right now, and we're at 1,200 feet, so you can see the people below us. This is in Florida, guys, so people are looking up at the air like, who are these idiots? So I'm really wishing I'd wore goggles, but they didn't wear goggles back in World War II. I've actually got to squat down and look under the wing because we're getting so close to the drop zone that the drop zone is underneath the wing of the airplane right now. 30 seconds. I'm going to give them 30 seconds. And make sure I got my spot. He's like, yeah, you're good. That's it, dude. You're good. 30 seconds. And you get back out. Now from here, the way these guys do it, remember, it's scared to be on this plane right here. Tracers coming up at you and everything. So some of the planes, the jump master would lead from the front. So that's what I'm going to do. I give them standby, and then I'm going to say, follow me, and I'm going to lead from the front. So I'm waiting till my spot. I'm not even on the runway yet. I'm like, there it is. He's like, yeah, that's it, dude. You're good. The crew chief on this plane is an old Green Beret, retired Green Beret. So me and him got along great. Follow me. We're going to switch to that outside camera. Me going out the door, followed by my son, Nicholas, Chad, Emery, Smith. I had there's Leif LeBlanc with his big orange parachute, big orange ball. Now, right here, guys, this is Emery's helmet camera, and funny stuff. There's our hangars. There's where we're supposed to go. And you see the orange parachute? That's Leif LeBlanc. Leif LeBlanc dropped 40 pounds to make weight for this. I'm very proud of Leif LeBlanc for doing that. I'm very proud of Chris Smith, David Duenas, Ashley Duenas, all you TR guys that the last couple of years have come down to Palatka, Florida and done this with me. Guys, I'm going back there again here next week. March 5th through the 22nd. It's completely sold out. Don't even try. All right. But we will be down there, and you got to get current. but there's a lot of people that haven't jumped in a while, so they're going to be down there doing what's called Extended Airborne Refresher. I've got Jordan Carlson, one of my patrons. He's coming to do basic course, but with Jordan Carlson, I've got all the horse soldiers from Horse Soldiers Bourbon. I have got Black Rifle Coffee guys coming. I've got all these people coming. Emery hits the ground like a sack of shit. Why? Because Emery doesn't have a lot of jumps. But Emery's awesome. He did not get drugged, right? And then right next to Emery is where I landed.
Yeah, Nick.
I land next to Emery.
Hey, brother.
Why'd Emery land before me? Emery weighs a lot more than me.
Fuck yeah. Excellent jump. A very excellent jump.
Anyway, guys, I figured you'd get a kick out of that. Anyways, here's the deal. I mentioned you can't sign up for it. You can't. It's already completely sold out. They do it twice a year. So if you want to do it in October, I'll be down there in October. I'll put you through Airborne School. It's going to be a great, great time. Indeed, a great, great time. But we're doing this for 3 weeks straight. They're running 3 back-to-back courses. I'm in charge of the second week. I'm going early to help with the first week. I mentioned going early to help out. They need helpers. So if you live around Palatka, Florida, or you're not doing anything for 2 days or for 5 days or for the whole time, if you can help from the 5th and the 6th, if you can help on whatever days, they need helpers because, no, you're not going to be packing parachutes. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done. So anyways, if you guys want to help out, as goes for all of you guys, I will be down there from the 7th through, I want to say, through like the 15th. And I would love to have you guys, I said the 15th, but so if you guys actually want to link up with me, I am there through I am there 7th. Wow. I am there 7th through the 18th. I'm leaving morning of the 18th. So 7th through the 17th, I will be there. You guys want to come hang out with me if you're in the area. My son's coming in towards the end to jump. Emery's going to be down there. We're going to have us a great time, guys. You want to meet Mark Nooch from, you guys saw the movie 12 Strong. Remember the captain played by Thor? Mark Nooch was the real captain that was on that A-team during the initial invasion of Afghanistan. All those guys are going to be there, the actual real guys, not Thor. And Mark Nooch does not look like Thor, but Mark Nooch is so much more awesome than the jackassery that they did in that movie. So anyways, if you guys are interested in going, it's going to be a great, great time. And then I'm taking, I got 9 people going to, that's not counting the other TR guys that are going. But I got Emery, I got my son, I'm bringing my wife, I'm bringing my son's girlfriend. My niece and her husband are going. I wish my daughter could go, but she's still doing pre-med right now. This is an expensive trip because we've got to rent parachutes and fly and just anyways, it's expensive, guys. So when we start getting closer, I may actually like pass the hat around, if anybody wants to put a $5 bill in. But Emery ain't got no money. I told Emery, I'm like, Emery, I got you. I'll cover everything. My son ain't got no money. Nick, I got you. I'll take care of it. But my wife's reminding me, she's like, I got you. But anyways, but it's going to be awesome. I am so excited. They have got 24 of these World War II era C-47 airplanes that are going for this event. They've got a B-17 and like 2 squadrons of P-51 Mustangs. These are all privately owned airplanes, or they're out of air museums. That Tycho Bell, the plane you guys just watched us jump out of, that one is out of a air museum in Jacksonville, Florida. They only bring it out of the museum a couple times a year, and that's what this is going to be. This is the last big hoorah, guys, 80th anniversary. Because the reality is there's not very many World War II vets left. They're not going to make it to the 85th. So this is the last big party, and I'm not going to miss it. I'm bringing my son. It's going to be awesome. I'm trying to get my wife to wear the old Army Nursing Corps uniform with the beehive hairdo, you know, with the thigh highs. And but I haven't quite talked her into it yet. But it's going to be a great time. Going to be a great time indeed. Steve-O is back. Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to get long-winded on you there. We've got a few questions that have come in. Let's see. I know Steve's got stuff. Carl, last Tuesday we ran out of time. You were going to show us how to set up your helmet for nods, and signed up for the low light, no light class in Louisville this year.
Louisville.
Now, awesome, Louisville. Steve's actually one of the instructors for that course. How I
Louisville.
set up my helmet.
It's not Louisville.
Standard nod mount on the front, guys. I usually run binos. I run IR flags on the side because understand American flags on your shoulders. If you're doing urban and only your head is sticking up, I want them to know I'm an American. On strobe light on the top. On the back is the battery box for my nods. I like a battery box because if your nod goes, let's say you've got binos and you've got one, it runs off a 1CR123 battery. All right, you know, I can take these off right here, and I can put binos on. All right, if your binos die, or your PVS 14, your monocular, you take the battery out, put a new battery in, you can't see while you're doing that. That would suck if you're a pilot, right? It'd suck if you're driving a truck, if you're under canopy, whatever. So the pilots started running it. What they do is off is in the middle, flip it to the right, it runs off of these two batteries, flip it to the left. Without losing power, it goes to the other two batteries. So it allows you to switch batteries without having to turn your nods off. It also adds weight to the back of the helmet because some of these nods get heavy, especially if you're running binos or quads. Underneath my battery box, they sell pouches to add. Guys will put blocks of lead in them to counter the weight, especially if they're running quads, because 4 tubes are heavier than 2 tubes. I don't run lead weights. I run a row of extra CR123 batteries, whole row of them. So anyways, but the front, I use a good Wilcox mount that I can adjust it this way. I can adjust it up and down. But the other, I can adjust it in or, I can adjust it in or out by, where's that button? On the sides. So in case I'm wearing like a gas mask or something like that. But the big thing is I like to be able to swing one of them up out of the way if I need to get down and look through my, let's say my EOTech. In other words, my other eye can still be looking through. This one would be down. I'd still, with this one, being able to see the bad guys. But with this one up, I can see the reticle in my EOTech. All right. If you run them both down, that's fine. But what you do is you then use the aiming laser on your gun. All right, no big deal. Now you notice I had to clip these on because some people don't want to buy binos. What I've got is, this is actually what you call a bridge. I have got a PVS 14 right here, guys. This is a PVS 14 Gen 3 Ghost White Phosphor. But on the other eye, I've actually got a thermal monocular. So it allows, now understand, everybody says thermals are awesome. Thermals are great at certain things. They suck at others. I square is great for some things. It sucks at others. Can't see heat, all right? You have to have a light source, even if it's just a little bit of light. But thermals can't see through glass. So by me having both, and this particular bridge I like because it really allows me to get them very, very close so the eyes are seeing the same. And the reason why I like this is called a Sidekick made by ATN. What I like about this one is, let's say one is slightly off from the other. and there's no way you can fix it simply because the tube's bent or whatever, you can actually move the TV screen left, right, up, or down. So in other words, you're not looking at two things and getting motion sickness. This one can see through glass. The thermals can't see through glass. So I could still be driving, looking through the windshield, but then if the guy jumped out of his car or whatever, ran into the woods, I could immediately jump out of the vehicle and I'd be able to see the heat source with the thermal. So anyways, that's how I set up my helmet, guys. This is a ballistic helmet made by Team Wendy. It is rated 3 Alpha. It's one of the lightest 3 Alpha helmets out there. It does good. This is what I will be jumping next week. All right. Anyways.
Jumping next week.
Well, yeah.
By the way,
If I jump.
James Donald Johnson III. Jay Johnson says he'll see you in France. He said his son is, he told me last week, or his son TJ is jumping in to France because he's
In the 82nd?
No,
Or
he's
was he at?
173rd out of Italy.
All right, so nice. Jay, that's awesome. I look forward to seeing you over there, seeing your son over there. Guys, he mentioned his son. His son is active duty. 173rd is it's a battalion, right? Whole battalion or just a company?
Battalion.
It's a whole battalion forward deployed in Italy. They're going to jump into Normandy. It's an airborne unit out of Alaska jumping. I know even the 101st, you guys know they're not airborne per se. They're an air assault division, but they have 200 airborne slots. You know, like the general gets airborne pay, even though he's already making 4 times what any of the sergeants are making. I'm not really sure I agree with that. All the air assault instructors are on jump status. Why? But it's so that if they're around airborne guys, the airborne guys can't talk shit to them. I don't know. I just know the 101st Airborne has 200 paid slots. LURS D used to be airborne there. The Pathfinder company was airborne. So I imagine, I've been told the 101st is going to have some people jump in. Of course, the 82nd is jumping. So it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a good time. And yeah, I look forward to it.
Prepper 101 says that he can get you parachutes for half price.
I can't afford parachutes, dude. You understand? I have a hard time affording Jeep parts. And I break a lot of Jeep parts. So, no, I appreciate that. I'm not jumping very much. I'm too old for this. I wanted my son to be able to jump into Normandy. I'm doing this for my son. We're renting parachutes from Round Canopy Parachute Team. I know they're good parachutes because these guys take great care of their stuff. Emory just bought a skydiving rig, and we're going to get my son skydiving with Emory. So my son will need a skydiving rig. So if you can get my son a discount, I would appreciate that. But guys, my years of jumping I've never had to pull my reserve.
Yeah.
I never want to pull my reserve. All right, that was a good question. All right, next one. Dear Mr. Carl and Mr. Steve, this is from S. Lee. Your thoughts on a concealment, a G19 holster for teachers and office professionals who can't be seen printing detected. Briefcase. Seriously, keep it in your briefcase. You'll see, I have this Euro trash bag. It's a one shoulder bag. You want to grab it for me, Steve? It's right over there. You know where the Dillon press is?
Yeah.
You see the 3 drawers on the on the left side?
Yeah.
You see the black bag that's on the top there?
Right here?
Yeah, that's it. That's my Euro trash bag. Grab that bag for me. Thank you. All right, guys, this bag has been to more countries and seen more combat ops than all of you guys put together. I hate to say that. I'm not exaggerating. This bag, it is a one-shoulder trash bag, right? Euro trash bag. Right here, it's already wired for the earbud, and you'll see the wires going up over the shoulder. It has a radio pouch on the inside. And the reason why I liked it is if I'm sitting in a vehicle, civilian clothes, I sit like this. I got my plate front and back. Well, now I've got a plate on my side because you can put a plate inside this. But let's say you go to jump out to chase somebody that just shot an RPG at your vehicle. It keeps you from forgetting your stuff. So now you get out and, oh, I'm dragging something, you throw it on your back. If, let's say you're not wearing armor, you can swing it to your front, and now you've at least got out one armor plate. You unzip the front. These are mag pouches right here, but here's the other cool part. There's a zipper right here to get to that holster on that side if you are left-handed, all right? But there's also a zipper right here to get to that holster if you are right-handed. The access side, the zipper on the left side is better. But anyways, it comes in different colors. It's made by a company called SDS. I'm not pitching this for them. One, I think they're out of business because this thing went to Fallujah in 2004, guys. It's an old bag. But I'm not just pushing them. There are lots of good concealed carry bags. 511 makes one that you can actually fit an MP5 in. Completely worthless. Anybody that puts that bag on, you look at it and you're like, there's a gun in that. It looks like it's got a gun in it. It's in the shape of a gun. So I love 511, but just don't go by names. Blackhawk, you guys all know Blackhawk sucks, right? Their holsters suck. They have got a line called the Diversion series of concealed carry bags. They are awesome. I've got one that looks like a tennis racket case. And it holds a rifle, awesome, a rifle. Let's say your rifle's too long for the tennis racket case. I have a tennis racket handle off of an aluminum tennis racket. I drill the hole up through the middle of the handle, and let's say my barrel sticks out 4 inches. I slide the handle of the tennis racket over the barrel that sticks. I got a little mesh bag with 2 tennis balls. I hang out that end too. I have carried that thing through the mall just to see if anybody would say, is that a gun? It's not a gun.
Is that a assault weapon?
Anyways, but there are lots of great brands out there. Honest, for a teacher or anybody where you cannot take the chance of printing, all right? And here's why I'm not big on teachers with a Kydex retention, zero retention holster. Teachers, more often than gunfights, teachers have got to go hands-on if students are fighting. And if you've got to go hands-on with a student that's fighting, you don't want to drop your pistol because now it just became a firearm-related incident and you're in trouble. So I would prefer you carry off-body. And I know that goes against 100% of what I will tell you everywhere else. All right? I'm not big on women carrying a gun in their purse because when the guy snatches her purse, she can't shoot him in the back anymore. All right? You're not supposed to shoot him in the back. Okay?
For something that's the size of a Glock 19,
yeah, that's a big gun.
I like to use a fanny pack. I don't know what they call them these days. We just call them fag bags.
Fag bag, fanny pack. Yeah, that's correct.
And I think the one I have, I've had this thing for 16, 17 years. It's made by Eagle. And basically what I do is on the front pouch, and I had them kind of, custom it up for me, but I carry my iPhone in the front. And you can see my headphones, my earbuds coming out of the fanny pack, so everybody assumes that, hey, he's got his wallet and his cell phone in the fanny pack, which I do. But on the back side of it, and the little, got the little loops where you just rip it real quick.
The Velcro.
I like to carry, I don't carry a Glock 19, I carry a
subcompact. You're a revolver guy, aren't you?
Yeah, but Springfield Armory, oh my gosh, XDS.
Yeah.
It's a
subcompact.
single stack subcompact.
Yeah.
I'll run
it's
19.
kind of like a 365 or a 40. You guys know I carry a 43. I actually carry a 43. I can't pull my pistol out here.
Please don't.
If you're gonna run a 43 though, or 43X, get the Shield Arms mags. Don't run Glock mags because this allows me, even though it's a single stack gun, these are double stacked. This is a 15 round mag. It sits flush, and the Glock mags do not do that. So anyways.
Is that a double stack for the single stack pistol?
Double stack for a single stack pistol. Made by Shield Arms.
I do not know that.
If you run this though, you've got to swap out the plastic magazine catch. You don't have to, but understand the metal lip on the mag after, especially if you unload every day like I do. because I dry fire every morning. All right, so I unload every evening. If a bump in the night, guys, that's not the pistol I'm grabbing. All right. But anyways, I'm not big on leaving loaded pistols laying around my house. All right. All right. Here's one from the Gus Stash. Just wanted to say I appreciate you guys. God bless. I appreciate that, dude. Isn't that nice of him, Steve? Steve's got stuff to show you guys. One more real quick, though. Question, if you could only buy one civilian thermal, which one would you recommend? It's upstairs right now, and I'm going to say hold off because a thermal handheld, some of them you can put on a helmet, some of them you can't. But I also like thermals mounted on rifles, dedicated for like hog hunting or migrant worker hunting, whatever, trespassers, deer, coyotes, things like that. Guys, you know I'm joking, right? You don't shoot migrant workers. We need to have the tobacco picked here. Guys, you think I'm against immigration? You understand America is 100% immigration except for the 0.02% of Native Americans. You understand? And they weren't here either. They crossed the straits from Alaska. So they came here the same way. So nobody's got, this whole place we're all immigrants. All right? I just want you to come here legally. That's all I want. I don't think that's much to ask.
No,
right?
not at all.
If you're shooting at the shooting range, I want you to shoot legally. If you're eating in a restaurant, I want you to eat legally. I don't ask for much. Be legal, right? Anyways, but the other option for you guys with your big sniper rifles is the thermal that clips in front of your day optic. A lot of you hunters that don't have rails on your guns, they make thermals that actually have a coupler that goes onto the Bell objective lens of your scope, and you clip your thermal on that way. So you have issues with them sometimes. No one thermal does all of those, so you got to decide what it is you want. Except, I just got one from the night vision guys. It's not for sale yet. This is new, being developed by the owner of the night vision guys. Felix is his name, and Felix is awesome. He's a 100-pound head. He's a very smart individual, very tech savvy. And the thermal I have upstairs will blow your guys' mind. It really will. The quality is insane. It is, give you an idea, I filmed Emery the other day while Nick was filming him with his breaching kit on. Now this is a thermal. Okay, now on his side, he had the Tactical Rifleman Velcro patch, which is all cloth. It's all thread, right? But that thermal was so clear, you could see the stars, the stripes, and the Tactical Rifleman skull and crossed arrows on that patch. That's how clear the resolution is on this thing. And you can clip it on your bell. You can mount it on your rail. You can mount it directly on the gun for hogs, and you can use it handheld because the eyepiece, totally badass. It's the only one out there I've ever seen like that. I believe it's the only one in existence, and that's why I can't tell you. I don't even know the name of it. There's no nomenclature on it yet. We're filming the video. The video will go live at roughly the same time that he puts his thing for sale. It's badass. So more to follow on that question. All right, Steve, you know I could do this all night long, but
Yes,
I'm going
to.
to...
Yes, you can.
What's new with you, man?
Before we get into the show and tell part, I wanted to...
That's good coffee right there, guys.
Notice how I ripped that open with my
Your new...
Kraken
Tactical punch blade?
push dagger.
Nice.
Push dagger.
And you got that from Kraken Tactical EDC. He's out of Australia, guys, and his punch knife is a little bit nicer than mine because Kraken gets better with all of his knives. He does, because they're all custom made one at a time. So I'm a little jealous. And that is just, look at that, guys. That thing is sweet. Sweet.
But last time when we previewed the Ted Val sight adjustment tool and we did a giveaway, we gave away all of the sight adjustment tools, and I didn't have one for you.
For who?
For you.
He gave me one at SHOT Show.
Did he?
Yep, I got one.
Well then, I guess somebody's going to get a Ted Val. Wait a minute.
We can do a giveaway tonight. You don't remember his?
No. I'm thinking that Randy or Emery. Anyway,
You want to give it to Emery. He can bring that shit over to Israel on his next trip.
yes, he can.
He could.
Okay.
We were going to give it away to you
Carl
guys.
just beat you guys out of a
We almost did a giveaway tonight.
Yeah.
Damn, Carl's an asshole. I can live with that.
You know what?
It's better than being.
You don't know. The moment we open our mouth and say, could do a giveaway, then we got to give a giveaway. We're not going to be like those other shows.
Let's give it away.
We're not gonna be like those other shows. So Carl can go about
All right, so
that.
here's the deal, guys. Sight adjustment tool, and that thing's badass. It is. You get the patches, all the sexy stuff, the guy's card in there. Steve's going to autograph it for you right now. There you go, Steve.
Steve and Carl.
They don't want my autograph. They want yours. You are the American legend, not me. Here's the deal, guys. We're going to do a giveaway. We're going to draw it at 8:30. So you have got 33 minutes ish. 30. You got 32 minutes. We're going to draw it at 8:30. To enter, you got to put the word Steve, Steve. All right. And that's it, that one word, because if you put too much, the computer won't pick it up. You can enter a maximum of 3 times. At least that's what my moderators say. I don't know. But, just put it in the chat.
Put it in the chat.
We're going to give a giveaway in 30 minutes.
Last week, we talked about Black Hills Ammo. Yeah. It was 4570 that we were showing. And tonight, I want to continue to talk about Black Hills Ammo. Now, I've been involved with a lot of different ammunition companies during my journey in life. Black Hills Ammo is owned, operated by Jeff Hoffman. Jeff Hoffman, to me,
Good American.
he's different from the rest of the ammo manufacturers. Most of the guys that I know are these big companies. Even when I worked with Remington, after Chris Murray and I and Troy Lawton developed the 6.8 SPC, if you go online at Wikipedia, it says it was developed by Remington Arms Company Special Operations Command, SOCOM. No, it wasn't. In so many different government agencies, when warfighters come up with good ideas, then it goes over to a program manager like Crane, and everybody says, well, look what Crane did. Crane didn't do squat. Crane does what they're told by the warfighting commander. Which General Mulholland was the one that signed off on the requirement when we developed the 6.8. And when I first did it, it was in 25 caliber, so it was a 25 257 SPC. But that's all I had. Anyway, General, Black Hills Ammunition is out of South Dakota. What's unique about Jeff Hoffman, and Jeff and I have been friends for over two decades. I first met him when we started working on the Mark 262 program. The US,
77 grain.
Yeah, the 77 grain 5.56. The US AMU was shooting 77 grain bullets in the service rifle competitions. And one year, I went up to Camp Perry to watch the whole shooting match, but I was basically there to review their performance with the 77 grain 5.56. Came back, wrote everything up, wrote a requirement, sent it forward. I was very good at finding funding. Somebody said, well, we don't have the money for it. I always tell them, there's always money. Don't tell me there's no money. I mean, there's no money to take care of homeless vets, but you're giving illegal immigrants $1,500 a month on a little ATM card.
And
Give
a
me a
phone.
break. And a phone. And an Xbox. I digress. So, Jeff and I became good friends. And Jeff, I just want to go over a real quick background on Jeff. And that's why he's different. If you think about the guys that own Remington Ammunition Company, think about the guys that own Hornady, like Steve Hornady, which is a good friend of mine. Steve is generational. His grandfather, I want to say his grandfather, Joyce Hornady, started the Hornady line of bullets and ammunition. Nosler, I know the Nosler family real well. I consider them good friends. They're great people. They're generational. Jeff Hoffman started off, and he went to, make sure I do this right, do him justice.
Where your glasses at, Steve?
Right here. So what's unique about Jeff and Black Hill Ammunition, Jeff was hired by the Rapid City Police Department as a patrol officer in 1979, okay? 3 years, then he got into the business and went into the Rapid City Police Department Reserve. Laterally to Pennington County, South Dakota after that. 1989 was invited to the SRT Special Response Team. Now here's an owner of a ammunition manufacturing company, Black Hills, and we're going to preview their Honey Badger ammo tonight. He served as a sniper until 2017 when he retired. 38 years in law enforcement, 28 years as a sniper. And the
whole time he's the head of Black Hills.
Yeah, but back then Black Hills was a small ammunition company that was going 125 to 150 call-outs. Hathcock awardee in 2010, which was 6 years after I was awarded the Hathcock award. But Black Hills, you know Black Hills for the Mark 262. You guys that say you can't get Mark 262, then you're lying to yourself because Black Hills has it. I want to talk about some of the pistol ammo tonight. You guys are familiar with for you guys that aren't familiar with the Honey Badger line of ammo from Black Hills. And this is the Black Hills Honey Badger line of ammo. I'm not even going to go over the ballistic performance. Just believe me, it rocks, okay? This is the Honey Badger line of ammo. Now let Carl flip it upside down. This is 9mm.
You see how it's got the fins cut, guys? So so it's solid copper, all right?
Copper solid.
And understand.
Yeah, you hold this up. Oh, that's all.
Understand this stuff as it comes out of your barrel, right? It's spinning, right, to stabilize it. But when it hits that fluid, human body, all those fins are going to throw out massive shock waves. Works the same. You guys know I use G9. My G9 has a very similar, right? It's only got 3 though. All right, 3 fins. And Honey Badger, let's see if we can get these two things side by side here so you guys can see them. I don't know, what do you guys think? Do I hear gel block? Gel block test? Yeah, we can do a gel block test if you guys want to. Let's do a gel block test. Not right now. We'll do it another. Let's do a, what do you say, a Friday video? We can do a Friday video. Honey Badger 9mm against G9 9mm, and we'll see what does what. Good stuff indeed. Steve, I appreciate you. You going to be on that video?
Yeah, I could be on that video.
There we go. There we go. Guys, you know, I just did a video a couple months ago on G9 has a new subsonic 9mm that will defeat level 3 alpha body armor. And I was like, okay. And it went through car doors, it went through windshields, 2x4s, drywall, all that stuff. And it's pretty good stuff, really good stuff. All right, this is 38 Special, 357. Honey Badger, same projectile in, dude,
357 Magnum, Honey Badger.
for my lever gun.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
That's for you and your lever gun.
Sweet. All right, guys, that's 2 videos right there. Yeah. Yeah.
That's yours.
Let your buddy know that we'll do a couple TR videos, Friday videos,
yeah.
like not half-ass videos. We'll do. What do you guys say? You want to see it? We'll shoot some car doors. I don't know why you guys would need to shoot through car doors or windshields or stuff like that. That's not honey badger. Black Hills. What caliber?
308 Winchester.
308. Did they make
What-
6.5?
What's my favorite weight for 308?
You like a number of different things, but I don't know. I'm a 178 guy, but that's because I reload Hornady for distant. Let's see. Steve likes 125s.
155.
155s.
155s. Here we go.
I shot some 155 tap in Iraq.
This is
And,
this is 155 ELDM. This is new tap.
New tap. Okay.
This is from Black Hills.
Nice. That's another video right there. Steve. That's 3 videos. We might have to combine one of them. What's that? More 308? Or you got 6.5? No, that's more. What weight's that one? 6.5 Creedmoor. Sweet. Oh, look at that pretty bolt.
Trying to
right
get that. That's also what we call tap ELDX from Black Hills.
What weight?
143s.
143.
Sexy, sweet. 6.5 Creedmoor.
Guys, did you hear in Ukraine, they are using the hell out of the 338 Normas sniper rifles, and they're using the hell out of the 308 sniper rifles. There's not a lot of 6.5s being used over there. But if you're a competition shooter, 6.5 is badass. This is actually kind of what I used for, I shot the Hornady version deer hunting this year. Just because that was I was lazy. And that was the gun that I had just done a video on. So that's what I had data on. So we went out opening Operation Bloodbath. We had Chris Papard brought his son Noah. Brad Fowers brought his 2 sons. Keith Gipple flew in to be with one of Brad's son while Brad was with the other one in the hide site. And then Randy Worst was out there to keep me from getting into trouble. Randy wasn't going to shoot anything, but Randy had a wounded buck walk up to him, wounded because Chris Papard's son had just shot it in the ass. So anyways, Randy ends up shooting this beautiful buck. Because Randy's like, I'm just coming to watch, Carl. I'm like, if you fine, you come to watch, but bring a rifle. I'll cover your license and everything. You just bring a rifle. So he texts me. He's like, yeah, I shot one. I'm like, Roger, that's okay. I had 2.
I shot one that was shot in the ass.
Yeah. I had a big buck and a beautiful doe. 2 minutes in the deer season. They had just come out. Literally, the sun had just popped up. Out comes a beautiful buck he's got a big doe out front on guard. You know how they'll push a doe first?
Yeah.
And I had a suppressor on my 6.5. So when I shot, the echo's different. So he dropped, but she ran away from where she thought the gunshot had come. She actually came and stopped about 10 feet away from me. And I was like, that's a good looking deer. And we needed more back straps for the grill. So I shot her because she was broadside standing there. And she bolted into the woods and actually rolled up against my stand. And zombie deer. I mean, she literally was leaning against the ladder. And then I look out in the field, there's the buck. So I was like, all right, I guess.
It's important on ammunition. You guys know that when I did the 6.8 SPC, we also did a 6.8 by 51, which is basically, it's a 270, it's a 308 Winchester neck down to 270, okay? The 6.8 by 51, the one they're running with the military trials right now, with SIG, the 277 Fury, it's questionable, 80,000 PSI. Now you could easily If you look up the 270 Reading, I was working with those guys for a while, but we're focused specifically on 6.8 SPC because of the AR-15 platform, the Mark 12 SPR. So if you look at this right here, you got the 6.5 Creedmoor, which is on the 308 case, the smaller one right here. This one. And you got the 308. So basically, in the 277 Fury, what you've got is that same, the bullet size will be in between those two. So basically, the 308, or preferably the 6.5 Creedmoor, would be necked up to 270. That would give you a 6.8 by 51, or what?
That's a SIG 277
and
Fury casing.
So basically, what they're doing with the casing is similar to what we were doing with the polymer ammo. They're putting a stainless steel case head on the casing. It's a 308 case, necked up to 6.8 to 270, and that case head, the strength of that steel, stainless steel, steelish, or whatever,
keeps the bolt face from blowing up because it's over pressure,
blowing up in your face. So you can actually make a 6.8 by 51, or what I call a 6.8-308 chamber, but use brass. If you ever run across the SIG ammo, I wouldn't recommend, me personally, that you shoot that ammo if you ever built an AR-50, an AR-10, M110 type platform for 6.8 by 51 or 270 308, because that ammo is designed to shoot in the SIG military rifles. Those rifles are designed to hold at 80,000 PSI. If you talk to a lot of ammo manufacturers, and I did a lot of work with the US AMU down at Parks Range with Troy Lawton and Chris Murray, when they were running the 77 grain 5.56, which we developed into the Mark 262, their rifles that Chris were building for the competition shooters, service rifle, M16A2s, they shoot proof loads at 80,000 PSI. Each one of those rifles, I can't remember how many rounds they shot of proof loads before that rifle was handed off to that shooter. Shout out to Houston. He's one of the shooters down there right now. They ran at 80,000 PSI, maybe, let's say 1 round, 2 rounds, 3 rounds. But after that, back to standard, their 77 grain, which was our Mark 262, standard 55,000 PSI. Okay? Now, during the discussion today with Robin, she had brought up the Mark 12 and a couple other things that did not, historically were incorrect. I brought one of the, we can't touch firearms, but can we see that? Can you see it from here?
Turn. You're talking about that one right here. Let me move that for you. Turn it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Guys, he's wanting to show you this one right here.
Now that one is one of the very first Mark 12 SPRs that Chris and I built. And basically, I mean, it's hard to see it right now because I can't get closer.
Where you want me to point? You're the one blocking the light, not me. Lean back, Steve.
Okay.
So you get light on it. Where you want my finger?
Where the handguard is.
Right here.
That was the first handguard. Now, the AMU used on their service rifles, they had a stainless steel sleeve underneath the handguards because all of their firearms had to be like standard service rifles. That's why when we adopted the M9, they went away from the custom-built 1911s, which are accurate as hell, and they had to take the M9 and make it work because that was a new service pistol. Same thing with the M16A2. It had to have the M16A2 handguards on it. There was a sleeve underneath, a stainless steel sleeve floating off the barrel nut that the handguards would fit into that sleeve, a tube, but those handguards did not attach behind the gas block of the front sight, and so therefore it was free floated, which that was not something that we were interested in because we wanted to run lights and lasers. So that handguard is one of the very first handguards that I built and put together, and it's got 1913 rails, but that handguard is from Armalite. Armor Light had those handguns back in the early days, and Mark Westrom and I, we went it over and over again. Say, put the rails, handrails. I wanted to reduce weight, and we went to carbon fiber. Now, the carbon fiber tubes were made by Chris and I, and then we sent it up to Crane, and we said, this is what we want as part of the Mark 12 program. And you see where the touch the front sight gas block? The gas block, now what we ended up doing, that's a full-length gas tube from an M16A2. So basically what we found out, and I actually talked to Mr. Eugene Stoner about this. I met Eugene Stoner down at Nice Armament when Nice Armament was at Vero Beach. And Mr. Stoner had come in to work with Reed Knight on the AR-10. That's another story. But basically, he explained to me the reason they had problems with carbines was the dwell time on the barrel. Because if you look, the barrel length in front of an M16 family, M4 family of weapons as designed by Mr. Stoner, he really awakened me to how it operates. Everything's based on dwell time. You have to have at least 5 inches of barrel in front of that gas port for it to cycle correctly. Mm-hmm. So when we were looking at the full-length gas tube, as you see here, we realized that we wanted to stay at 18 inches, like the Mark 12 Mod Zero, but we didn't have 5 inches. So what Mark Westrom recommended me to do with Chris is go to a gas tube that was longer than the M4A1, but shorter than the M16A2. And that's how we came up with the 10-inch gas tubes that are on the Mark 12s that are in service even now with the Special Forces units. Crane has tried to take them away, saying they were outdated. They want to get rid of them. When they do that, they want to take something away from you because some other company is buying them cigars to run their project. I'm not going to name the companies, but you know who I'm talking about. So basically, this is like the very first, probably the third one that we built. And then I think the number 4 was you had the full length, I keep pointing at that, the front sight. You had the full length front sight, but we left the front sight out because you can shoot more accurate when the rear sight, front sight is further out. But we put the gas tube halfway at 10 inches instead of 8 inches. No, I think it was 12 inches instead of 8 inches on the M4. And that's why M4s always tear up faster at a lower round count, because that short gas tube is making it's. Mr. Stoner explained it to it. I mean, I was like a kid in the candy store. It's running too fast, basically. So we would have the full length tube with the front sight block out at the proper distance for the M16A2, but underneath there, it's got a medium gas tube gas block. Okay? Hard to show you because we have to shine a light down the tube, and then we'll be touching it, and the YouTube guys will get us. But that's some of the stuff that began.
My mic here.
Look at it.
All right.
Sexy vanilla.
I'm sorry, dude. My mic is.
Sexy vanilla.
My mic was hooked.
So that's one of the versions. I was going to bring the one of the first SPRs, Mark 12 SPRs we did in 6.8 SPC, because that was the whole intent of the program, was the Mark 12 with the Mark 262 77 grain, which was used in combat extensively. When 5th Group was fielded first, I think we were the first ones, got like 65, and then they fielded across the board to the other Special Forces groups. Of course, when the Navy SEALs got involved, then they came up with the Mod 1, which had the Reed Knight handguard.
Hey, just a reminder, if you guys want to get in on this giveaway, autographed by Steve Holland, it is the little sight adjustment tool. You've got to write the word Steve in the chat room. You can enter a maximum of 3 times. My moderators are going to use their program to draw the winner at 8:30. Go ahead, Steve.
So, Robin, whoever your friend is that's asking all these questions, nobody outside of the government, outside of the AMU and 5th Group and Crane as a program manager, had anything to do with the development of the Mark 12 until they were given a small business contract to make the parts that had already been designed and prototyped by myself and Chris. That includes Precision Reflex. Precision Reflex did not design the M84 gas buster. I did. Precision Reflex was a company that made reflex sights. Where's a company that makes reflex sights all of a sudden pop up on a radar screen making Special Forces rifles? Okay? And technically, they were only making Special Forces rifle receivers because we were taking the lower receiver from M16A1s.
I thought
because when we put that
ones,
Mark 12 SPR, Special Purpose Receiver, on our M4A1s, Colt stepped in, threatened to sue the government because Colt owns the tech data package on the M4A1.
Another piece of shit company.
So Gus Taylor, being the genius he is, program manager, he said, you know, we got a couple of thousand M16A1s sitting in storage. And what do you think we did that? I said, I'm all for it. Let's do it. Let's go. So Warcom came in and said, oh, we got to have the night rail. Therefore, it became a Mod 1. Okay? And the Mod H, most people say, well, Steve Holland designed the Mod H. No, Steve Holland designed all of them. When the guys came back from Afghanistan, they said, we love the Mark 12. It's a little bit tight in the vehicles. I said, well, guys, then go to the M4A1. Okay? And they said, well, we like the 77 grain 5.56. You just want it shorter. I said, okay, let's go to 16.5-inch barrels. And I had Chris make 16.5-inch barrels. We used the medium gas tube. We got the carbon fiber tubes that we directed Precision Reflex to go and buy, and then they would do the work on putting the rails on. And then we sent a batch of those overseas, and the guys said they love them. And the Mod H became the standard SPR model from that point on. And like I said, the guys are still running them. I talked to some guys last month, and they said, yeah, they keep telling us to turn them in. So the unit has to fund the maintenance instead of the program office at Crane. But the guys say they don't want to give them up because nobody's come up with anything better. It's kind of like the M2HB 50 cal Browning heavy machine gun. That machine gun was designed in 1918.
Yeah.
Still in service. You know why it's still in service?
Because it works.
It works. The soldiers love it. And the Mark 12 is still doing this thing. No, we didn't fully transition to the 6.8 SBC on that like we wanted to, but that's another bureaucracy tragedy that I can talk about at a different time. But we did have HK 416s made in 6.8. Got a lot of those to the Border Patrol, to the U.S. Marshal Special Operations Group, CANSOF, all the units that were involved in this program, because I had to take the program and lift and shift and hand it off to other organizations because 5th Group was getting pressure from USASOC.
What you doing, Jamie?
Who was being pressured by CAG
What's up?
to get rid of.
Before Steve leaves, I want to show him this Glock knife, and then I know he likes Skull
Okay,
Steel,
so they basically
I'm going to go split woods.
wanted.
Okay.
I didn't find out till later why there was so much pressure coming from Fort Bragg on the 6.8 SPC when we had done a demonstration for those guys for CAG, and the guys were shooting it out at 600 and they loved it. Months later, we started getting all this pressure. What is 5th Group doing designing their own ammunition? And I was told, you know why the 6.8 would never be successful? I said, no, ma'am, why? She said, because sergeants don't design ammo. And I asked her, I said, do you know who Mikhail Kalashnikov is? She said, no, I don't. I said, do you know what the AK-47 is? She said, of course I do. I said, well, he was a sergeant in the Russian army, and he designed one of the most prolific assault rifles in the freaking world. I mean, we're talking about countries have AK-47s on their flags. So a sergeant designed 6.8 SPC. So what? Does it work? I'm an end user. I understand what other end users want. So
She should have lost her job right there. She should.
basically what we found out is that they were working on a cartridge called the 6mm Tiswig. You can look it up. It's on the internet. And they were working on another cartridge that turned out to be the 300 Blackout. Okay? So their guys didn't want to see the 6.8 SPC be successful because it would basically cancel out them trying to introduce their stuff over to what we call white side soft from black side soft. Because 6.8 outperformed the 300 Blackout, which was a slight adjustment where they copied J.D. Jones's 300 Whisper. And to this day, the 6.8 still outperforms it. Everybody's like, well, Steve, 300 Blackout, subsonic. Dude, you think I don't have subsonic 6.8 SBC ammunition design? Give me a break. We had 7.62 by 39 shooting 220 grain Sierra Match Kings out of a 12-inch barrel and shooting under a nickel for 5-shot groups, which of course Sean Redock was shooting for, and Sean is a phenomenal shooter. So all that stuff is nil. Anytime you see something good going on with the other soft units and then it gets shut down, it's probably because somebody little rice bowl is being stirred around and they don't want to see that happen. So, Robin, I hope I'm answering your friend's question from AR15.com. I don't follow AR15.com. I don't subscribe to it. People send me stuff that's being said, and I say, oh yeah, interesting. But I don't respond. Now, I do read sometimes 6.8 Forum. I am on 6.8 Forum. I haven't logged in a long time, but if you want to send me something, my 6.8 Forum ID is Master Sergeant, Master, big S, SGT 68. So it's Master Sergeant 68 on 6.8 Forum. And like I said, I haven't been on that thing for probably 2 years. And I wanted to get involved, so I built a profile. And then I said, you know what? I'm dealing with the Tactical Rifleman Nation. I don't have time to, get into this chitty chat, chitty bang bang.
We got more. Some of them are rifle questions ish. All right. Joe asked, well, guys, we're getting ready to do our drawing here in 2 minutes. And once my moderators let me know who the winner is, I'll let you guys know. Joe asked, hey, Carl and Steve, what magnification scope would you recommend for 6.5 Creedmoor? Guys, 6.5 Creedmoor is not any different than 308 or 300 Win Mag. It's what is your mission? What are you looking to do with it? And then because you understand, if your mission is all I'm going to shoot is 800 yards with it, I'm not going to shoot anything closer, then go with like a 5 to 25. But if you're like, I'm going to use it in the city, I want a 1 to 8 on it. All right?
Did you say 5 to 25?
They make 5 to 25s now, Steve.
Sarge, some of my spotting scopes aren't 25.
Steve is dating himself here.
On the Mark 12 SPRs, we started with the Leupold 3 to 9 because they didn't have that tactical line. I helped the rep from Leupold, and I actually flew out there a couple times to design the tactical scopes that you see on the Mark 12s. They're 2.5 to 8s. On the 308, anything in that medium caliber on the 308 case, my favorite is a 2.5 to 10 with 30 millimeter tube with no less than a 45 millimeter objective. I have probably 3 of those scopes and I absolutely love them. I mean, I haven't been shooting anybody lately since I retired. Not that there's not a lot of people out there that need to be shot, but mostly hunting. When you're inside that normal distance, inside 600, and most people can't judge 600 when they're out in the field, whether it's a whitetail or a hog or I don't know, whatever. I take guys out hunting, they say, oh my gosh, that deer's at 400 something yards. I say, now I'm not going to say anything based on my experience as a sniper instructor. I said, I'm going to laze it. I said, dude, that deer's at 260 yards. No, that's got to be 400. Most people can't judge range, especially if it's all across an open terrain. If you don't have anything else to reference to, if there's a bush at 80 yards, okay, I know that bush is at 80 yards. I know that tree is at 220. It can give you a reference. But across open flat fields, the average hunters and shooters can't they can't guess. I mean, I've had situations where I have misguessed. I had one buck, I could have swore he was at 380, and it turned out when I laid him, he was at 275 because of the terrain. Remember range 2 with Mr. White?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he had those targets out there. He cut you no
And
slack.
they were all level, but the terrain dropped so much. Some of those pop-up targets were on 40-foot tall steel I-beams just to get them up so you could see them. I know, 'cause I had to change the car batteries on a couple of those. Oh.
So for me, take a look at 1.5 is a little bit too low. I mean, people say, well, you go to 1.5 and work inside the city. No, it don't work like that. 2.5 to 10 is the way to go. I'm not going to name a specific scope brand unless they're supporting the channel, which they're not right now. So 2.5 to 10. I'm not going to get into reticles because we'd be here all night. All those new high spanking low drag Christmas tree reticles got shit going everywhere. You know, I don't use them. I don't. I use mostly either mil dot or duplex reticle, you know, and I just shoot straight away.
I got a couple more dealing with ballistics and stuff here. Let me. I just lost one. I lost it. All right. Hey, Carl, see the. All right, that's the 300 Whisper one. I'll be right back. All right. What kind of charge and primer fires the M203 that was in today's video short? I don't know what short my son put up today. I don't think it had an M203 in it, but
You talking about the grenade launcher?
yeah, you're talking about, if you're talking about grenade launchers, this is a shell casing from a M203.
We don't reload.
And, yeah, we don't. But you'll see they actually have a brass rifle base with a small rifle. It's actually a large rifle primer in the bottom of it. And the reason why they insert that whole thing there, so that you have to make special primers for it. But it actually fires. If you see, there's a small cone in the middle, and what that cone is for is so there is a small booster charge that lights all the powder. I have no idea how much powder or what it is, but it runs off of a regular. If you look, see guys, see. Right, this one doesn't have a primer in it. All right, you guys, you see how, or it's got a brass primer. All right, yeah, no big deal. Next one, did the 300 Whisper have anything to do with the development of the 300 Blackout? Yes, 100%. They copied the 300 Whisper. They took the 300 Whisper and then basically just tried to bring it up modern, do a SAMI specs on it, but the 300 Whisper was already there. All right, they did different weight projectiles and everything, but the 300 Whisper was already there. Without further ado, serious question: did Carl see the 4 Mile rifle at SHOT Show? I did not. All right, guys, Remington is building. They have their MRAD ELD, Extreme Long Range ELR. MRAD ELR is what it's called, and it is chambered in the Barrett 416 projectile. It is a 2 mile gun. Can you make a 4 mile rifle? Yes. That does not impress me because I have seen guns that can shoot at 30 kilometers. They're mounted on the USS Arizona, and they're mounted on a lot of other big ships. A gun is a gun, guys. A gun is a gun. So for you to say, well, you know, this is a man-portable gun, and it can shoot 4 miles. All you're doing is you're playing games. And here's why, all right? For example, talking to Chris Barrett about this, remember, because he's helping develop this extreme long-range gun. And what they're talking about, because this is an unguided projectile, right? So you have to be able to judge environmental effects, wind, number one, but also if you're shooting 2 miles, terrain, winds are going to wrap. So you can't just take winds where you are, because the wind where you are is not affecting the bullet. The wind where the target is not affecting the bullet. It's all the winds in the middle. All right, and as the bullet slows down, those winds begin to affect it more and more and more. So what they're talking about is having drones with environmental sensors on them that they can put out like every 400 meters to tell you exactly what the wind is doing, barometric pressure, temperature, all that stuff, the whole way to the target. Greatly increases your chance of a first round hit. Okay, makes sense, right? Now, that's total bullshit. Here's why. Because, and it's fine for competition and for Instagram where you can say, well, I hit a target at 4 miles. Okay, but in real life, they leave out the part that it took them 5 shots to do it, by the way. But understand, as soon as you miss and blow dirt up next to Steve, is Steve going to stand there? No, Steve is not going to stand there, number one. And number two, even if you hit Steve, all the guys with their sniper rifles are going to look, and they're going to see a line of drones every 400 meters going all the way back to one bush way out there. Hey, you see that bush right there? Huh, there's a line of drones going to that bush. Huh, where are you going to put that battalion of infantry? Where are you going to send mortar shells to? Mortar shells. So the reason why you don't need a rifle that goes past a mile is because you're no longer danger close. And an example of this is, you guys have seen we got a SEAL on our Tactical Rifleman team named Jason Phelan. Jason Phelan was not a SEAL sniper. He was a SEAL commo guy. So in other words, his job was to talk to the Air Force. So his snipers, the SEAL snipers, would be shooting at bad guys, and they couldn't hit them. So he would put his baseball cap on and put his shower shoes back on, and he'd walk up to him, and he'd be like, all right, show me where this guy is. He's out there in that building, man. I've shot at him 4 times. I can't hit him. All right. Just stop. Bronco 4-4. This is Apache Heights. What you got with you? I've got 4. I'm Winchester on 20 millimeter. I've got 4 JDAMs. What kind of JDAMs you got? I've got 2 500s, 2 2000s. Woo! You know, I've got a building here just screaming for a 2,000-pound satellite guided bomb. What do you say you spare me one? Sending you the grid now. And you know what they do? Those SEALs that are still plinking, he taps them on the shoulder and he goes, hey guys, by the way, we're danger close right now. And the SEALs get down and the whole building goes away. And you know what? They can get in the Humvee and they can drive up there. Guys, that, 1 shot, 1 kill. Jason always got the guy. Always got him. Always got him. Sometimes you got a bunch of other bad guys with him. But my point is getting, and guys, I'm a member of the 1 Mile Club. You can go to dnlsports.com right now. Go to dnlsports.com. They have a separate page on their website for the 1 Mile Club, and it is a knockdown small LaRue target, and it does not reset. If you knock it down, you get on the 4-wheeler, you drive all the way up the mountain, and you take your picture next to the target. You will see I am in 2 of those pictures. All right. So what? I can hit a piece of steel that I leave out the part that it took me 7 shots to hit it. All right. But I still hit the target. Guys, the reality is a sniper needs to be able to get first round hits in the effective range of his rifle. Once you get out past a mile, just use the Air Force. That's what the Air Force is for. All right. So you telling me there's a 4-mile rifle out there? I'm like, okay, I have hit a target with an M1 Abrams tank. Yes, I have been to the M1 Abrams tank commander course, and I have shot live rounds, Sabo rounds from a 120 millimeter smoothbore rifle. All right. I have seen hits 30 kilometers away with this big rifle mounted on the USS Arizona. All right, it is still a rifle. It's just not quite man portable. There's a man there somewhere doing this, making it move. Okay, but all right, Captain, bring her around the 131. All right, a 4-mile rifle doesn't impress me, guys. What they should be doing is putting their technology to guided bullets. And what I mean by that is there are 20 millimeter sniper rifles. There are, obviously, we have the 50 cal sniper rifle. The Soviets have a 12.7, same thing. But they also have a 14.5 sniper rifle. That's their big, heavy machine gun round. But there are 20 millimeter rifles. There are anti-tank rifles from World War I, World War II. If you're going to go, me and Steve shot what was called a 25 millimeter Barrett. There's the picture's not here. It's in my man room. You guys look at my Instagram. You'll see a picture of me with a Barrett that's got a short barrel on it. That is a 25 millimeter. You get a projectile that big, you now have a projectile that is big enough for you to put a guidance system on, spring-loaded fins, and you could have a bullet that, so long as the guy kept the crosshairs on the target, it would be able to be guided similar to a Javelin or a Dragon missile. The old Dragon missile, you had to keep your crosshairs on the target, and it would fire little booster rockets to make it go left, right, up, or down. They could do the same thing on a 25 millimeter rifle, and that would impress me. You having a 50 caliber gun that hits a piece of steel at 4 miles, or hits some schlep rock when you're shooting at a crowd of 200 people and you hit one, I am very underwhelmed, guys. So there are a lot of things I wanted to see it shot. That was not one of the things I hunted for. All right, New York City drummer. Sup, Marvin? Sup? He threw down 10 bones. Sup? Sup? Just wanted to thank you for helping me dry fire with your face, Carl. I appreciate that. Like you guys don't dry fire on the neighbors. Y'all are liars. Liars. I used to bring my snipers out into the woods. I actually had them dig a, you remember the old semi-permanent sniper hide? It had that overhead cover and everything.
Yeah.
I had a couple guys on extra duty. I had them dig one of those. They were on extra duty for 7 days. They did it for 9 days. This thing, they planted grass on it. It's over by San DZ on Fort Campbell. And they actually built 4th Brigade there. And my snipers, we would dry fire on change of command ceremonies and stuff. Why? Because sometimes you can't get a range and you still got to have your guys trained. Navy 95, Carl, comma. Can you talk about shine or downrange reflection that optics give off under night vision? Is that way diffusers are used? There are some Ukraine guys that say there are systems that scan now.
Let me hit this real quick.
That's us shooting the 25 millimeter with the suppressor on it. That is at Ed Lowry's Rattlesnake Ridge. And it's a badass round, guys.
It's a thumper. It will get your attention. But back then, I was in excellent shape and I was doing a lot of push-ups and pull-ups, and my body could ride that recoil out.
The problem with nods, guys, right, and I could point these at the lights. They're good new nods are not going to bother them. It's not so much light that you're giving off here. It's light on the, notice I don't run eye cups because they mess with my goggles too much. But if I was fighting bad guys that had nods, I would run eye cups to keep light from across off my face. That's not what they're talking about. But that is light that you guys, if you had nods, you could see that light. All right. What they're talking about is they actually make sniper systems. Terry Summers had one for finding snipers on the battlefield.
On the Dragunov, SVD Dragunov.
No, this is a different system for finding snipers.
Yeah.
What it does though is it's pulse. You use it during the day. It pulses IR light, and it reflects off of the nods right here. It'll reflect off of that lens. How does it work on a day optic? Remember glass, so it would go through. It's reflecting off the back of the sniper's eye. Serious as a heart attack. The IR light goes through the scope, reflects off of the back of his eye, it goes back out, and it has a sensor that is right next to that strobe that is picking up on the IR spectrum. You use it during the day. It gets a lot of false positives. For example, the reflectors on the side of a vehicle will actually set it off. But in the dark on the battlefield, the Ukrainian snipers are not having that issue.
Yeah, Terry brought that over to the Force Mod office one time.
All your flashlights. This is an IR flashlight, guys, and it is a beast. It is not eye safe. It's also not for sale anymore. But this big ass, and guys, that's a big ass lens. Any kind of active IR source sweeping a battlefield will reflect off of this. Steve's glasses will do that. Your EOTech, the light will reflect. But what really kills, guys, is they have that little square of glint tape on their sleeves, so that if that Spectre gunship has got his IR floodlight on, that IR Spectre gunship can see you. Guys, the Spectre gunships use thermals now. They're not running IR floodlights anymore. This is not the invasion of Grenada. The problem, though, is these American flags reflect IR, so that my snipers running active IR sources can see this. The enemies will be able to see that also. All right. Any shiny piece of metal on your gear will reflect light, but especially glass. So if you've got a bend in the road in front of your hide site and it's a vehicle that's got high beams on, and you don't want to be seen, you need to make sure no optics are pointed that way. You need to make sure your glint tape's not showing, and you need to keep your head down. And because it will reflect off of your eyes. If you don't believe me, ask hunters how they hunt raccoons. You go out with a flashlight, the dogs find it, and then you flash your bright flashlight and it reflects off the raccoon's eyes. Your eyes do the same freaking thing. If you don't believe me, ask why all your photographers and your iPhones, if you're using a flash, why they have a button to get rid of red eyes, because the flash reflects off of the back of your eyes.
Back when we were doing the SOP Mod program, we worked with, I can't remember the guy's name. His name was Peter, but he had that honeycomb attachment for the front of your optics.
Yeah.
And it was called an ARD, anti-reflection device. And basically, he would make it for like aim point. We had the SOP Mod, we had optics, then the Big Army would field us optics. Big Army's optics was called the M68 CCO, and that was basically the aim point. So Peter designed the ARD with a little honeycomb, kind of like on your scope when you put the long sunshade over your scope.
Yeah.
This screwed into any optics that was threaded up front. And basically, it kept anybody from the sides left and right from seeing that glint that you get off of the reflex sights.
But understand, if you're directly in front, that honeycomb's not helping you. All right. But if you're a little bit left, right, but literally, guys, even if you're running honeycomb, understand that does not negate it. It helps you.
If you're running honeycomb and the guy's directly in front of you and he's able to see the glint from your scope, he should be seeing the muzzle blast from your rifle.
All right, now I don't have a aim point here. Aim points and all of your red dots, if you look at the front, for example, this is a reflex sight. The emitter is right back here. It doesn't matter if it's an enclosed emitter, exposed emitter. You can see the light from the front. You can't see the light from the front of an EOTech. It is a holographic weapon sight, and it prisms around. It's not visible from the front. Doesn't matter if you set your red dot optic on. Does not matter if you set your red dot optic on night vision setting. It just means your reticle is now IR. The enemy nods can see IR. So just food for thought, guys. And that's why the EOTech is so popular. So popular. All right, we got a bunch of questions, guys. Who was that just tried to call me in the middle of a live stream?
Was it Byron? Because he's texting me.
No. Susan called me. I don't. Announce the winner. Announce the damn winner. All right. Running out. The winner. The winner of the Thule thing is actually sight adjustment tool autographed by Steve Holland is Michael Thorough. Michael Thorough. Thank you, Susan, for reminding me. I'm a dumbass. All right. I am.
Congratulations, Michael.
All right. Yep, funny stuff. Oh, that is an awesome picture right there. All right. Let me rewind here.
Byron.
All right, guys, we've had a bunch come
What's
in.
What's
Got
on your
another
mind,
one
brother?
here. This is from Nick Schaefer, 5 Bones, Carl or Steve. What are your thoughts on the Ruger SFAR? Do you think removing the material from the bolt carrier group lowers its lifespan? All your 3-gun guys, they like to cut holes in their guns to make them lighter. You understand Stoner designed these things a certain way for a reason. The problem with removing a lot of weight from the bolt carrier group is you're making things snappier. And I don't know. I don't personally know what they did. I'm not familiar with the SFAR. Guys, Susan sent this is the picture of the original Patreon course. And wow. And that was a long, long time ago, guys. And I'm pretty sure that was the original course, wasn't it, Sue? It was the original Patreon course. Wow. Patreon course just went live for sale. This will be our 6th year doing it. Steve's been at the last 2. We actually threw Tommy chickens at the last one.
Yes,
we did knife throwing and everything. But anyways, it's open to all patrons. I don't care if you're a $1 patron or $1,000 a month patron. I'd love to have a $1,000 a month patron. Wouldn't that be awesome? But guys, it's open to all patrons. You can sign up at patreon.com. Susan, thank you for sending me that picture. I couldn't find it. I will post that. One more question because Steve wants to talk about these blades. Stephen Rogers. Hey, Carl, comma. How fit does one have to be for gun runner pistol? Guys, you don't have to be fit for any of my courses. Here's the deal. I'm not trying to make operators. When I'm trying to make operators, I'm teaching the military. I'm teaching law enforcement, SWAT teams, whatever. BORTAC, all right? Emery's actually right now down teaching the Dutch Delta this week. I'm not allowed to say that out loud, and I really don't care. All right. But what I will say is you guys coming to my classes, I'm not trying to make you into operators. I'm trying to take concerned citizens and make you into capable citizens. I'm trying to leave you, because some of the courses are 1 day long, maybe 2 day long. We've got a few 3 day long. He mentions gun runner pistol or gun runner carbine. That is a 2 day class. I can't make you awesome in 2 days. Can't do it. So instead, what we do is we spend the whole time teaching you. Instead of giving you the repetitions, I give you the knowledge so that you can go home. You don't have to be in shape to get that knowledge. You have to be smart enough and humble enough to soak it in. What I mean by that is I have had everything from 18-year-olds to guys in wheelchairs to guys that were 400 pounds. I had a guy during the stress test completely face planted. I mean, dude, blubber was flying everywhere. Seismic sensors were set off in other states. But you know what he did? He protected the muzzle of his gun. And when he rolled over and started apologizing, I'm like, why are you apologizing? You know, you fell correctly. Everybody falls. I have fallen wearing nods in combat so many times. It looks hilarious on Kill TV from the Predator. You know, you fell correctly. By the way, the pro timer's still running. You're in the stress test. There's no timeouts. There's no, can I start again? There's no, excuse me, Mr. Bad Guy, I left my rifle in the car. Will you not shoot at my family until I get back? No, there's no do-overs in real life. So you don't have to be the best. shooter in the class. You don't have to be the best in shape shooter in the class. I have guys that show up and they're like, Carl, I just had a hip replacement. I'll shoot when I can. I'm like, yeah, and when you can't, you want to sit down, cool. Try to sit where you can listen to the lectures. All right, if you got to take a break, take a break. So please, guys, please don't think physical fitness should be a limit to these classes at all. All right, just had another one come in. All right, won't let me click on it. I freaking hate this phone. I hate this phone. All right, there we go. All right, this one is from Mr. Merck, threw down 10 bones. Hi,
Coach.
Steve.
Coach, is that Coach
And
or Coach
Carl,
son?
Fort Campbell is built due a lot of our old family, Clardy land. Our old family home was there on one of the ranges and was used as a target. We still have family cemeteries on base. Wow, man, I did not know that. It was Clardy land back in the day. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
All right. Wow.
It was built
Coach,
of
brother,
family.
I guess there was a family on base named Clardy. Guys, what he's talking about was when the U.S. government decided to make a military camp here called Camp Campbell. That's what you understand. You have to take property from people that sometimes they want to sell it, sometimes they don't.
Eminent domain. Right?
Eminent domain. I hate that, but understand
Yeah.
you're not really free in America. I know you guys love your freedom, but can you go fishing without asking permission from the government? I want this to sink in. I want you to answer it honestly. Can you go fishing without getting permission? Not only do you have to ask for permission, you have to pay to go fishing. Ask my wife. My wife had to get a fishing license one day. She was going to get an annual, but the annuals run out in February. So she got a one-day fishing license.
When we went down to the...
You're not really free in America, guys. I love you. But...
we went down to the Big Daddy Unlimited.
Yep.
And we were in Georgia. And I took Carl. We went over to the courthouse for the
We had
trial.
whiting. We had whiting.
Yeah, whiting. And I said, you know, while I'm here, I want to try to get some fishing done. And I asked my older brother Tony. He's a boat captain, fishing go-to guy. My other brothers Bobby and Keith. And they said, you want to fish? I said, yeah, I can go fish, saltwater kind of thing. They said, well, you got to get a license. I said, no, I'm not fishing freshwater. When I grew up, if you fish freshwater, St. Tiller River, the Altamaha River, and ponds, you had to have a freshwater license. I said, no, I'm going in the ocean. In the ocean. This planet is 70% ocean.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm going to fish in the Atlantic Ocean off St. Simons Island, Jekyll Island. They said, well, you got to get a license. I said, no. Saltwater. They said, you got to get a license. I said, a license to fish
what it is, guys.
in God's ocean.
Camp Campbell, back in the day, a lot of guys don't realize this. That was where there was actually an airborne school here for 101st Airborne. Camp Campbell was actually a prisoner of war camp. During World War II, there were German prisoners of war that were captured by American dog faces over in Europe, and they were sent to Camp Campbell. They were given work visas, and they worked on farms all around Fort Campbell, Camp Campbell at the time. A couple of them took American wives. Out of all the prisoners, next to none of them, when given the choice if they could go back home to the motherland, almost all of them decided to go home. Where you would have thought that everybody would want to stay in America, they wanted to go home. Later on, it became Fort Campbell, and in 1989, 1990, 5th Special Forces Group moved here from
89.
89.
Well, I'll take that back. 1st Battalion was already here.
Were they really?
Yeah, they came in 87.
Okay.
And Charlie 15 was out at El Paso.
Texas, which I thought all of 5th Group should have gone there,
Yeah,
desert.
Yeah. We thought also.
Yeah.
But some senator decided that they wanted to build up Fort
and
Campbell.
then so you have the 101st Airborne here. You got 5th Special Forces Group here. Task Force 160th had a battalion here. They actually have the headquarters here, other units, and it eventually, Task Force 160th grew to become the Special Operations Aviation Regiment, SOAR. There's only one. It is the 160th SOAR, Special Operations Aviation Regiment.
Many times when I was out either hunting or land navigation, I would run across small cemeteries.
Yeah, they're all over Fort Campbell.
Sometimes maybe 5 headstones, maybe 1, maybe 20, and they will have the fence around it. And you can tell, you can look at the headstones, the dates for, 1700s, 1800s.
And some of them have been
1900s.
restored, upkept good. There's pushes from time to time by families to restore certain ones. But there are some small graveyards, small family graveyards that are so deep in the back 40 of Fort Campbell. Remember, I started off my time, guys, as a recon guy in the 101st Airborne. We'd go out, we'd do 18 days in the field, and that's all a scout team does is walk for basically 18 days. And we'd set up hide sites in some of the thickest stuff. And I remember one night, the helicopter put us in about 3 Ks from where we were supposed to be, and from where they told us they put us in. So we moved 3 kilometers due east, and instead of being up here, we were actually down here. No big deal. I found out where we were when the sun came up, but when the sun did come up, the tree I was leaning against, I'm looking at, because they're all big trees, they're big trees. The tree in front of me had a headstone on one side, and it had a footstone at the other end of the tree. And then the next tree over had a headstone on one side and a footstone on the other. And what it was is that family back in the day, and a lot of the stones were knocked over, but I've seen it very few other places, they would plant a little sapling on the grave. And it's kind of like on Gabriel Field, Fort Campbell, we plant a tree for every fallen Green Beret. We don't do it on their actual gravestone, but apparently whatever religious set it was there, whatever family it was, it's kind of weird because now understand those trees are 3.5 feet, 4 feet, 4.5 feet, 5 feet in diameter, and they've actually pushed the stones over with the roots. Now remember, there's a wooden box underneath there, and the roots go through the box and everything. And I guess it's one way to keep grave robbers from digging up your family.
Yeah.
You know.
It's a technique.
It's a technique. So Fort Campbell has a lot of history. Camp Campbell, back during, and guys, a lot of military trivia out there. If you go out to Camp Campbell, which is the back part we call it Cav Country now, it's still there. It has, it's a 5-mile loop you can run, and there's actually bunker doors every so often, and there's also 2 other bunker complexes that have got small doors and little machine gun pits, because that's where I'd always take 516 to go run PT. Mm. So you run by these things all the time, and big bunker doors, guys. What that was back in the 50s and 60s, they actually stored nuclear artillery rounds there for the Navy, for the main guns of the battleships. And there was 1 shell in each bunker. You know how big the doors are? Yeah. I thought like it opens up bigger inside the mountain. It's not. As big as the doors are, that's how big. It's like a garage, and it goes back 150 meters. And to inspect the shell, it's a wooden pallet with 1 shell back there. I've seen pictures. I've never seen the real shells. You have to Geiger counter outside the door, open the doors, Geiger counter there, walk 50 meters to the line painted on the ground. The lines are still there. Geiger counter sensor, check it. Go to the next 50 meters, there's a line painted on the floor. Check Geiger counter reading again, and then you go to the pallet, Geiger counter, make sure the round's not leaking. Well, because round's not going to leak, it's a nuclear bomb, right? They actually had one leak, and serious as a heart attack. They took the round out, and through the vents in the top, they filled it with, I don't know, so many tons of powdered lead, and basically dump truckloads of it. And then they blew sand in there and filled that entire bunker up solid and welded the doors shut. Those doors are still there to this day. Units like the sniper locker, I think, has one. You can get permission from range control to use one for your unit storage. And that's how I got to see the inside. There was a unit that...
we had all our targets for the sniper locker. But all that lead they poured in there, I wonder if that's seeping into the water.
No, it's a concrete floor, concrete walls, ain't nothing.
I've been inside, but I'm just saying that.
But I mentioned the two bunker complexes. One of them is a hospital, complete military hospital underground. And the other one is the command headquarters for, I don't know if it's just for God knows shells or if the Cold War kicked off. I don't know. I just know A15 kept trying to get permission to go in there to do training, but they wouldn't let us in because of all the asbestos. It's dank, nasty mold and just asbestos everywhere. But they're still there. If, it's weird that the entire nation, guys, is covered with bunkers like that. Cold War bunkers, the old barracks before they tore them down.
Yeah.
Every arms room had the fallout shelter placard on it, because if all of a sudden the Cold War nuke sirens went off, where are you going to run? You understand, you got 90 seconds to get somewhere. Everybody in the building would basically run down into the basement where the arms room was, and the doors and the concrete were thicker there. Just small little bits of military trivia. And
I think he sent another question.
I've got a bunch coming in, dude. All right. Resolution of okay, she's talking about that picture. All right, guys, this is going to be our last one right here. All right, this is from Mr. Merck, 5 Bones. Talk to Coach, ask him to send you the articles about it. Our family was there since the early 1800s. Family was moved in the 1940s for Camp Campbell back then. Guys, what do you say we have Coach on live stream? What do you say we bring him in and we'll talk about Camp Campbell? I think that's cool. I think that's a good idea.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
Coach and Uncle, awesome. He is the most awesome guy when it comes to 22 long rifle accuracy. Really great with young kids.
Just ask Big Al's daughter.
Coach is an American icon. He's a national treasure.
Guys, Coach, if you're watching,
got to get him on the show.
If you're watching, Coach, if not, please tell your dad for me that Big Al's daughter wants to thank you personally for taking the time to teach her on the 22, and she got mom and dad to buy her own 22 rifle. She brought it out a couple Sundays ago and shot and shot and shot. She actually asked to come out and shoot because she's, Dad, where are you going? I'm going up to Carl's to shoot. Can I go? Can I go? Can I go? Can I go? And this was a girl that didn't want anything to do with guns. All right, guys, here's the deal. We ran long tonight. I'm in trouble because I was supposed to end at 8:30 because tomorrow's my anniversary. My wife wanted me to get in the hot tub tonight. So, anyways, I'm in trouble, but she loves me, and hopefully she'll let me off the hook. I want to thank all of my moderators and all of my patrons, all you guys, for the support that you've given us here. I want to thank Steve for coming on the show tonight. We've got a lot of great stuff for the future coming up. I'm not joking. If you guys want to help out down in Palatka, Florida, it starts next week. It goes for 3 weeks straight. I want to thank Live Free Armory for sponsoring tonight. Guys, if you're looking for a 1911 and 9mm that is completely tricked out, their Apollo 11 is totally badass. It really, really is. Remember, I mentioned Rifsy, right? That's that app on my phone, right? You guys keep seeing the commercial popping up. I'm not joking. Sign up for this app. Please sign up for this app because it's some pretty cool stuff. And you'll see me posting stories and stuff. It's cool because it's growing, but it's growing slowly. And right now, it's us. You guys are the ones joining, and it's kind of cool to see a lot of the same names that you see in the chat room you're seeing on this app. It's called Rifsy, RYFFC, and it's free. The app is free. It's kind of cool. It's not censored news. It's not news with an agenda from the politicians and mainstream media. It's the news that you guys want to post. There's a story you like, post it. And pretty cool. Great questions tonight. And parting words of wisdom from Steve Holland. I put your whole poster up if you need to read it.
I don't need to read it.
I know you don't, Steve. The path.
You want me to do the path, or you want to be without fear?
You do whatever you want,
Be
Steve.
without fear in the face of your enemies. Be brave and upright, that God may love thee. Speak the truth always, even if it leads to your death. Safeguard the helpless. Do no wrong.
This is where the knight would slap you upside the head and tell you that you're now a knight.
Be without fear against your enemies, in the face of your enemies that are already here because they came across the border.
We're not doing politics tonight. That's okay, guys.
The lone kiss goodnight.
We made it. Y'all take care and shoot straight.